Polito, Chamowengapa, Hantuk, Himak, Pisama, Shapisa, La Shike. Great peace, Yakoki. Anayan, easy, Aayan. It's buzzing. All right, so you can see here, this is the food they found in my DNA on my L2 haplo. This is the food they found. So this is what my ancestors ate right here. This almost looked like below equatorial type of food. This will be like an African and South American type food. Your bean stew, your fish, your goat meat, your cornbread, your ugali. You know what I mean? Like, look how close these matches are. Look at this Swahili fish curry, 0.09. Emmer bread, 0.08. This is stuff I'm supposed to be eating right now because this is what my ancestors ate, right? This is what I'm supposed to be eating right now. I eat beans. Like, beans is probably the most food that I've ate within the last 10 years. And fish. Fish and beans. Fried fish. This is all I've been eating. Now what I find interesting is that I don't see chicken. I don't see chicken. Chicken may be on here, but I don't see it. So this is what I ate, right? This is what my ancestors ate. So let me go over here. Now this right here, right? This is interesting. This is my ancient DNA, and you can see right here I have mtDNA and yDNA, E1, B1, B1, A1. So this is 10,000 BC. Emborimoriation. Let me pronounce this right now. Iboro Morrison. Iboro Morrison. Now look, this is ancient. It says ancient Morocco. Now look at the depictions of ancient Morocco. It's people with bow and arrows, and people drawing on caves and stick sites with leaves and bulls. Now this right here. This is ancient Northern Africa, right? You see how this goes? So this means all of them had a kingdom and they were able to freely move back and forth. You had people go here, go there, and they probably traveled across here as well. No one talks about this dynasty or this age. No one talks about this. Tafarat. No one talks about this age. You see what I'm saying? This puts me in America, and I'm going to show you how. Let me close out of that. Okay, let me go over here. Because now you see here, my A went up, my A1 went up. I'm not sure if E1B if E1B went down. I'm not sure. But my A's went up. The A is the oldest haplogroup. And I'm not sure. Let me see. Close out of that. Okay, L. I think this is my mtDNA right here. So my mtDNA, right, is coming out of Africa. This your mtDNA is your mother side. 73% now. You see? 73% now. Okay? So we are entirely African. Okay? L, like 73% is probably like Northeast African, right? Northeast African, and that's my mother's side. All right. Now look at this. Look at that archaeological ID. That's me. It puts me with a sample match in pre-Columbian indigenous Racha Uruguay, 50 AD. So no one can say I was not in America prior to colonization. No one can say that. No one can say I was not in America prior to colonialization. I was in Central America, but most importantly, 50 AD, I was in South America. Isn't that where the oldest bones are found for the oldest living person in America? Right there in this area? You see? So imagine if you know if the government knows that you in fact, right, you did your DNA, the government knows that you have your DNA and it says that you match a sample for pre-Columbian indigenous Racha Uruguay. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. Imagine how you can involve yourself in a settlement with the government where they could leave you and your loved ones alone, meaning they can grant you land, they can, grant you resources, and they don't have to bother you with anything, right? They don't have to keep consensus on you. You know who you are now. You know who you are now, so they don't have to keep consensus on you. They don't have to send a police after you every blue moon because your name came up on their radar. Imagine that. We're in a fight now. We're in a struggle. You can never know enough about who you are and where you come from. You can never know enough. You have to know who you are. And this is why I advocate, when you do your DNA, right, you have to keep in mind that, you know who you are. You're not involving yourself with this 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 unfortunate occurrence that you may be a descendant of a colonial, right? You may be a descendant of the person who came here and caused one side of your family havoc. And this also goes for people like who are on the fence if they don't know if they want to marry into, the black races, right? Being they're black themselves. Are you sure you want to prolong, that other side? Are you sure you don't want to marry back into the ancient races who are about to take the covenant back? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because if you don't proclaim your nationality, you don't proclaim, everything that's endowed to you, you're pretty much cursing the next generation that's coming after you that you brought onto this earth. And I want to say this, right? To have a marker from 50 AD in South America, what does this essentially mean? This means that you were here before all colonial governments. You were with those people. Now, I want to say this because a lot of our people, right, they're giving up their bloodlines to get comfort in a world that's falling apart as we speak. They're trying to get close to people, who don't have their best interests in heart. And when they're doing this, right, what are they creating? They're creating confusion. Look how many people who are biracial, right? They don't know if they want to identify as white. They don't know if they want to identify as black. They don't know. and they have animosity towards their black side. Listen, when we have to do our DNA and we have to find out who we are. We have to. It's only important. We have to find out who we are. You see? Um, I know a lot of our people are caught up in the idea that, they're going to be confused about, the next steps they're going to take. They're not sure what steps they want to take. You see? They're not sure. Now, you see this, right? Someone took my photo that I had on one of my posts and they created a YouTube page and was going around acting like I don't want to say they were me, but they were acting like, that was their real account. So I had to take my picture down. But this is my ID. I had to report that page. This is my ID. This is my ID right here. This is my ID. And I'm saying all of this because, right, you see this. When you're doing your DNA, you have to practice self-determination. You have to. You're going to have to spend money to get your DNA results. You're going to have to spend money to get your DNA processed and tested, to find out all this information. You're going to have to figure that stuff out. Because if you don't, people are going to be lost. If you don't leave a website, if you don't leave a YouTube page where you're talking about all of this stuff, the people in your family, when they come into this stage of enlightenment and they start figuring things out and they don't know this stuff, they're going to be confused. They're not going to be able to make arguments before the public when they're challenged on some idea that they may have ran across someone. There are so many ways that you can trial a idea and kind of get it over into people's thought patterns and to try to get people to understand what you're trying to say. Like, imagine making an argument that, you don't have to be a part of the United States government anymore because you didn't found an archaeology ID. Imagine how powerful that sounds, an archaeological ID. And it's patented, which means that anybody can go and search up this ID and find out, who owns it, right? Imagine that. So we have to get the government to thinking with the representatives, right? Hey, why don't you run my archaeological ID and see who owns it? Okay? And see who owns it. Because that's my thinking, right? And you see here I have Nachi, Kusa, Amo, Amonakin, Shata. All my tribes. Not all of them, but just a few of them. Okay? Once you put me in 1810 in Maryland, the confusion stops there. The confusion stops there. To me, like, I don't want to have to buy any more DNA processes where I have to like do a run or in sync on where I was and where my family was during these ages. I don't want to have to do that anymore. I don't think I need to know that I was a part of the American Indian Empire. I don't want to have to know all that, right? At least for this particular one. I have my haplogroup A. I have this archaeological ID. I have markers in Central America as labor, also as victim and slave. What more do I need? What more do I need? The interesting thing about this, right, is these markers don't line up with what happened over here. Because you can see there's no markers right here in this area. Right in the Sahel region, there's no markers. So where did these laborers come from? Now I can tell you right now, being from southern Mississippi, I can see like right now my family, particularly my family in southern Mississippi, they had to come from Central America at one point in time. Here's the markers right here. They had to. How do you end up in Mississippi in a rural town like Natchez, like Coahoma, or what they say Clarksdale? How do you end up in these places that, for our means, when you look at these places, right, they look very domesticated to like only people who would live um, rurally, to people who would live rurally. These don't look like big cities someone just come off a plane and want to settle in. These look like places where people have lived in for a long amount of time and have kept it that way for them to come and go and to relax. Now, if I got these markers, where's all that technology at? Where is that technology from all of these markers? Who has it? And why don't I have it? Why do I have to pay a foreign currency in order to get this information? Doesn't make sense, right? No, it doesn't. More information is coming out. They can't hide all of it now. It's too late. People have found out about the truth. You get a marker that says 50 AD and you got a genetic distance of 21. Mean what 2 is the closest, 0 is the closest. You see? All you need is just a peck, a peck of genetic distance. That means that's the furthest back you could go. The furthest back you could go. Pre-Columbian. That's African. This is Wakanda. I'm telling you. We have the maps that's showing America right here. We have the maps showing America was right here on top of Africa. We have the maps. We have the maps. It's no way you have 40 million people who just mysteriously pops up in America, right? What they like to say, oh, it's because of breeding farms and because they were brought off of ships. And none of these people, right, match the same genetics as Africans over on the motherland, on the mother continent, who have admixture with white people, right? Because white admixture. What would that mean? That would mean you have H haplogroup, right? Well, guess what? None of those people match up. None of them look alike. You can have a biracial person from Africa and a biracial person from America. They don't look alike. So why do we all of a sudden don't look alike, but we know we are the same people? Why is that? Were we made as robots and put here and put there? Are we artificial intelligence? Like, what are we? That's what they don't want us to know. That's what they don't want us to know. So look at this information, right? Just look at it. This information is coming out. It's coming out. Great peace, Yakoki.